Of course, we are continuing our discussion surrounding several of the issues that continue to affect life in St. Lucia, issues that matter, issues that affect the everyday St. Lucian. Well, everyday St. Lucian. That term is, I don't know, it seems discriminatory in some way. So maybe we don't use that. But issues that affect everyday life here on the island, and there are quite a number of these issues, guys. My name is Angie. You're here. You're tuned in to Fire 107.7 FM. This is Hardtalk, and this is the opportunity to get in on the conversation. Of course, it is an opportunity for discussion. This is a forum, I've said over and over, a safe space for intelligent conversation on the issues that affect our lives. So, of course, if you are going to come here and try to be disruptive, then you know what's going to happen. You are going to be kicked off the platform. I make no bones about it, guys. I've seen too many disruptions happen on other networks, and I'm not going to let this happen here, okay? All right. And if you follow the rules, then, everything is going to go as normal. So first off, before we kick off today's conversation, let me welcome my loyal listeners and first-time listeners, whoever you may be, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us. So if you're joining us on the Fire 107 link on whatever device you're using, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the broadcast. If you're joining from the 107.7 FM frequency on your radio, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the broadcast. And those of you who are chiming in on the Facebook platforms, those of you on Facebook, those of you on who will be messaging me on YouTube, WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you as well. Guys, coming soon, we are moving. Well, not moving, because we will still be on the same platforms that we use, but we are heading to Instagram. Fire FM is not a stagnant radio station. We plan on going wherever the audience is. So we're already on YouTube, and we're making plans for us to simulcast. So pretty soon, when you join the broadcast, you can see us both on YouTube. You will be able to see us both on YouTube and on Facebook. But we do have a Instagram platform that we are underutilizing. I think we should jump onto Instagram as well. Why not go wherever the audience is, right, guys? So, more reasons for you guys to see us, to hear the message, and to find out what is going on in St. Lucia. I think the artist, I'm not sure which one, I think it was Monster. I think he put it best when he said, St. Lucia we love, and that is where we are going to be. So wherever there are St. Lucians, wherever there are people, that's where we on Fire FM plan to be. So, of course, I am going to post it on our Facebook page. That's our main social media platform. And we're going to transition from there to everywhere else. So, guys, stay tuned. And not to let the cat out of the bag, but I am looking into developing an app for the station, and after consultations are concluded, If it is feasible, then we're gonna do it. But for now, something to look forward to. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if we can make it work. Those of you, I need to also say a very special thank you to a number of individuals who have contributed greatly to the growth of this platform. These individuals continuously share the live, and they make it so that the message spreads. Guys, very, very special good afternoon to you. I hope you guys are not shy, because I'm going to mention your names right now. Number one, top of the line, Mr. Ian Cauldron. Thank you so much. Always calling, always sharing the live on every platform that he can. Thank you so much for that. There's another individual named, I think the name is Lifeman. I want to make sure I say it right. Lifeman Human. Thank you so much. Always sharing our lives also. Miss Allison Georges, good afternoon to you. Always tuning in, always sharing. Thank you guys for that. If I don't know your name, or if I didn't call your name, it's because your name didn't show up as one of the individuals who share. But if you share, Caribbean American Media, good afternoon to you as well. Another individual or another organization who always shares the live. Thank you for helping us grow. You guys are making it possible for us to spread the message and to ensure that everyone knows what is going on here in St. Lucia, and you contribute to the growth of this platform. So thank you so much for that. I really wanted to send out a very special, heartfelt greeting to you guys, because you guys are amazing. And for those of you who are just joining us, if you've never listened to Hardtalk before, this is a platform where you can discuss the issues that matter without the fear of making it or being labeled an enemy of the state simply for your opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion here, as long as your opinion is not disrespectful and you express it in a very that's civil. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Civil manner. You're allowed to have an opinion here. You're allowed to opine on what's going on in your country. You're allowed to agree and to disagree with the host. But you do so in a respectful manner, and this is the platform where we stick to the precepts of accountability, transparency, truth, and integrity. So, thank you very much to the individuals that I just mentioned, and also to the individuals who take the time every day during the week to pop in, listen to the message. You guys as well, those who subscribe, those who follow, you guys are also responsible for the growth of this platform. And I want to say a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for being here for us on Fire 107.7 FM. Straight off the bat, guys, we are going to be looking into more of the issues that affect our daily lives here in St. Lucia. Now, I was attempting to hop onto the pre-cabinet press briefing that should be taking place today, But for some reason, it has not been posted. I don't see anything on the government website. Because I really wanted the Prime Minister's take. I wanted to hear what the Prime Minister had to say concerning the stance taken by the NCOPT. Of course, that would be the National Council on Public Transportation. Because, guys, the cost of living in St. Lucia is preparing to go through the roof. We have a number of conditions that are brewing here on island that will result, I'm not saying could. Notice, I am not saying could. I am saying that they will result in a price hike for St. Lucians. And if you look at the signs or the developments, you will agree with my assessment. Initially, there was the war in Ukraine, and this war hiked the cost of living by causing the price of fuel on the world market to spike. And we saw fuel costs in St. Lucia go as high as $17.95 and then come down and get capped at $16 a gallon. Now, we also saw prices decrease, but we didn't see a corresponding decrease in the price of fuel per gallon that we were paying on island. No, the price was kept at $16 despite the drop in global oil prices, and we were told that it was for our own good. We wouldn't have known what to do with the extra money. But on top of this, already not, I wouldn't say difficult, because I think now we are facing difficulty. I would say strain. On top of this strain, or this already strenuous situation, we saw war erupt between Israel, Iran, and the United States of America. And what happened? Conflict resulting in more exacerbated increases in the cost of fuel. Now, initially, with the Ukraine war, we saw an increase in bus fare, an increase in the price of bread, a sharp increase in the cost of goods on the island. We also saw the 2.5% health and security levy being implemented, and the strain just kept increasing. Fast forward to 5 years later. Not even 5 years, guys. Do you realize it's not been 5 years? It's 4 years, because the health and security levy was implemented around 2022, 2023, right? And this is 2026. So about 3 years later, we see conflict again in the Middle East. And we realize, because of the issues in the Strait of Hormuz, global oil prices are back up in the sky. But St. Lucians, who were already under strain, we're now facing an increase in everything. Firstly, the fuel surcharge on the price of electricity jumped from 7 cents a kilowatt to 25.5 cents. If you don't know, if that doesn't, let me just make this more relatable to you. One household uses tens of thousands of kilowatts. Tens of thousands on a daily basis. So you're paying this 25.5 cents tens of thousands of times in one bill. I've been listening to other talk shows, and do you know what I notice? People calling and complaining about their electricity bills more than doubling. I heard one individual said that his bill went from $60-something all the way to $200. And that is a huge jump. And if that wasn't bad enough, St. Lucia, the Water and Sewage Company, which has incidentally not been providing St. Lucians with a steady and reliable supply of pipe-borne water, they have petitioned for an increase in their rates. Fuel prices, we saw last week, jumped up 75 cents from $16 a gallon to $16.75 a gallon. And we have the bus drivers saying, we are monitoring the situation for the next 3 weeks. And if we realize that it is causing strain, we are going to lobby for an increase in bus fares. Now, I don't have to take a walk in the supermarket to know that the prices of goods on the supermarket shelf, I don't have to walk through the supermarket to realize or to know that they have automatically increased as well. Because once the price of fuel at the pump increases, operational costs for businesses automatically increase. Couple that with an increase in the fuel surcharge on electricity, and you get automatic doubling. It's common sense. When Wasco decides to introduce their new rates, guess what's going to happen? Operational costs for small businesses will increase, and they will have no choice but to pass these increases on to the consumer. So what do we do? Our leader, the leader of our government, it's kind of difficult for me to call anything happening out of this current administration leading. But we've been told as citizens to harvest rainwater and grow what we eat. When asked about some mitigating tactic that will ease the squeeze on the people, specifically related to this increase in the cost of electricity, we were told by our Prime Minister that there was nothing he could do because we do not pay VAT on the cost of electricity, and therefore he cannot remove the VAT to alleviate the strain on the citizenry. Now, notwithstanding that several of our Caribbean neighbors, including Barbados and St. Vincent, they've moved expeditiously to curtail or try to stem the rising costs of living for their citizens. In the case of Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley has employed a mechanism that has enabled their electricity company to import fuel at a lower cost so that they don't have to charge so much on the fuel surcharge, and in that way cushion the blow for Barbadian citizens. In the case of St. Vincent, our sister island, just a few clicks to the north, to the south, Prime Minister Goodwin Friday has removed all taxes on diesel being imported by Vinlec, which is their version of Lucelec, their electricity company, so that, again, they do not have to pay, the citizens of St. Vincent don't have to pay this marked increase in fuel surcharges, and the price of electricity remains at a manageable level. In St. Lucia, our Prime Minister has thrown his hands up into the air and said, well, if you were paying VAT, I could have removed it, but you're not paying VAT, so you're going to have to pay somewhere else. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's what it feels like. St. Lucia, do you realize that this month is not only the beginning of the hurricane season, which, by the way, guys, I want to make a plea here. Nemo is saying that this storm season, this hurricane season, is going to be very active, although some people are saying that initially it's going to be quiet. And Nemo is saying, don't let that fool you. We've had forecasts that were quiet before, and we ended up being hit by major hurricanes. Who can forget Hurricane Thomas? This one scared the crap out of me. I know you guys like me still have that trauma. Those flashbacks. Please, guys. I just want to sidebar and send this plea to the St. Lucian public, both here and abroad. Those of you listening, please ensure that your preparations for this coming hurricane season, you should have already begun your preparations. You should have already begun to cut the trees around your home to ensure that there are no overhanging branches onto your roof. You should have already begun to clear your gutters and your water, ensure there's proper drainage and you don't get flooded out. If you live in a low-lying area, please, 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 I hope you've already prepared your evacuation plan if that becomes necessary, so that you don't get, stranded. Make sure every time you just put a little extra aside and get some extra stuff. Get your batteries. Ensure you change all your batteries. If you have solar panels, make sure that they are secured, or make sure that whatever devices, they're properly secured. Make sure your roof is properly secured. Make sure your animals are taken care of. Make sure whatever medications you might need, just in case, just make sure all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. Because we cannot control hurricanes, but we know for a fact how devastating these hurricanes can be. And the most we can do, guys, is be prepared, to have a plan in place and to follow that plan. So guys, make sure that your preparations for the hurricane season are underway and intact. If you've already sorted yourself out for this coming hurricane season, kudos to you. Just make sure, guys, that you are prepared. Now, not only is this month the start of the hurricane season, but for those of us who are parents, this is the start of preparing for school season, school book season, school bag season, school shoe, stationaries, facilities fees. This is the season that we are entering into. Could you imagine what this is going to look like when the cost of living spikes so high just in front of a school season? How are parents to do it? And that's why I really wanted to listen to the Prime Minister's pre-cabinet press briefing, because I wanted to know what measures are being put in place in the face of these increases to help parents send their kids to school. Already we're hearing the Prime Minister say that he will be concentrating on truancy, ensuring he has already increased the team of truancy officers, and he wants to ensure that every child attends school. So he wants. My question to the Prime Minister: how are parents supposed to cope? We had a call on the line. Oh, caller, we missed you. Could you call back, please? How are parents supposed to cope in the face of all of these increases? Increase in the price of fuel, increase in the price of goods on the supermarket shelves, increase in the prices of utilities like electricity and water, how are parents, what measures are going to be put in place to help parents send their kids to school this coming school year? Because if you look at it, guys, today is already the 8th of June. School most likely will be closing this week. Bookless will be going home, and parents will have 2 months, 2.5 months, the end of June, July, and August, to ensure that uniforms, school books, school bags, stationaries, school shoes, facilities fees, transportation costs, and so on and so forth will be covered. If your child will have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How are you doing?
I don't know if it's
afternoon, what is night, whatever.
Well, it is. It's 2:36 p.m. right now, so it's afternoon.
Oh, it's only 2.
Yeah.
What time it is, let me see. Oh, it's almost 4 o'clock in Canada.
Okay.
Well, the part I am in Canada.
Right.
But I'm trying to understand what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is, if I will put it like that, there is because what you're saying is making so much sense. And I don't know if a lot of people, and I would wish you would say something like that, if a lot of people understanding what you are trying to imply or what you're saying. Because I don't believe that the people does understand. Really, can you say the same thing you are saying there in the Creole language?
Yes, I can.
As far as you know, because there is some people, whether they go to school or not, and I'm not putting nobody down.
Yeah.
But because of the certain words, even in Parliament, whatsoever, the only person that used to do it used to break the word was Guy Joseph. And I don't care what people say about him. But we need to break down words. Because not everybody can understand the problem that St. Lucia is going through.
Right.
They don't understand. So, sometimes when you say certain things, you won't be able to say every word in Patois. I can't even say it. But sometimes you need to say it. It's like when a minister comes and I say, Aaron Shastney should be able to speak. I'm saying the national anthem. I was born and raised in St. Lucia, national anthem.
Let me tell you, the national anthem is easy, but how many St. Lucians can actually say the national pledge?
Well,
you learn the national pledge in preschool, you say it in primary school. By the time you hit secondary school, you only say the national pledge on Independence Day. And then after that, it slowly just leaves because...
Okay, let's look at something easier for them to understand.
Right.
And then let's ask all the people that go into church. How many people that know how to say Our Father?
I can. I even know it in French too. I know a little bit of it in French too. So... But I do understand what you're saying. You're saying that we need to make the message easier for everyone to understand. But what is your take on the situation, caller? Because
Because
you
the
understand.
common man by the market
Mm-hmm.
don't understand what we're talking about.
You think so?
But yes, because Maka vote Labour,
Mm-hmm.
and then Maka vote UWP. Moi fait Labour, and then moi fait UWP.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we talking about here?
Well, cost of living. Cost of living.
We're talking about cost of living. That's how much I chicken back, eh? But that same person
Mm-hmm.
try to try. I'm gonna use my big words like Van John.
Mm-hmm.
Try to inculcate
Mm-hmm.
in our brain that same person don't know what we're talking about. So who we talking to? Who we speaking to ourselves?
Mm-hmm. I
Because
understand.
we're not speaking to them. We are speaking to the same person living in Babolo, in Marchand, in Grass Street,
Right.
in Soufre, in Queenhouse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That same person don't know what we're speaking about. So let's speak to the same people, the same way we're speaking to the same people, because all what we're doing here. You remember that guy used to be the radio, the best radio announcer? Football.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think the brother speak English?
Of course he does, and quite well. Quite well.
All right then, but he can expliquer patois bao because that is but people say mama, that's not mama long nose,
Lang mamanu.
whatever they say. But you need to speak to everybody.
I understand.
And you have to speak to everybody. When you say gas for everybody. Let everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's go further.
Yeah.
We forgot about that. But let's speak to the real people.
Right.
Now there is a big problem
Mm-hmm.
where some guy came online and make an accusation,
Mm-hmm.
and he spoke to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
The minister come back on Facebook, but he had never gone to a reporter where somebody's asking him questions, right?
Right. Well, again, the pre-cabinet press briefing happened today, and it's scheduled to be posted in a few minutes, and that would be the opportune place for the minister to respond to
I hate to say that. I want to speak like Rick Wayne now,
Mm-hmm.
and not because Rick is my friend or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to speak like him. What transpired at this pre-cabinet thing means reporters. St. Lucia don't have the reporters like you
Mm-hmm.
or like Rick Wayne. Well, he's not even he was a reporter, but he was more a radio announcer. Von Wells and
Mm-hmm.
and then Andre Pauls and things like that. To ask the real questions. And the questions that is asked, it's always in the benefit of the politician. Are you agreeing with me?
Yeah, I have to. Most times, it's softball going on at the pre-cabinet press briefing.
Softball.
When I watch it, sometimes I cringe. I have to be honest.
Be honest with the questions. The questions is not being asked.
Right.
You used to have people back then, used to have the Dr. Beats, and then used to have Timothy Polo. actually, Timothy Polo is asking for questions and things, so, but because of political whatever or party whatever, the questions that need to be asked is not asking it.
Yeah.
How the guy know you?
I don't think
Because
the issue
now-
should be, you see, this, let me tell you something, caller. A lot of people miss this. The issue is not whether or not the minister is familiar with the individual or not. The issue is, did the minister receive that sum of money from the developer to pass on to the lady?
So let me just say straight.
Did
You say
did the
$295,000.
right? Did the minister offer the lady the amount that the guy is saying was offered? Has the lady been paid? That is the issue, you know. Everything else surrounding it is noise. And the minister, and I said to people, I was having a conversation on this. And I looked at the minister's response and I said, look at the minute, be very careful. The minister said he does not know the individual, but he never denied outright what the gentleman said. He never said exactly. He did not deny that he was given that sum of money. He did not deny that he never made that recommendation.
What made the matter look so suspicious?
Yeah.
The guy said he spoke to the developer.
Right. So the minister has never refuted that. He has. You're laughing. Okay. The minister did not deny. I'll break down my words. He has not said no. That amount of money was never awarded. Okay. Minister pa jamais dit yo pate bay l'argent sa bay madame la. Minister pa jamais dit il pate offre madame la sa yo di yo fait madame la et qui pa jamais dit madame la ha hen pay. Nou pa mele si connaît nom la si pa connaît nom la. Ça pas à faire nous. Nou pa mele si minister jamais parler bay bougla si ni le mot ça pas important. Ça qui est important, est-ce madame la, est-ce l'argent ça yo bay madame la, eh ben est-ce pas l'argent ça. Est-ce te dit madame la, mi sa moi sa ba ou et qui pate right amount l'argent or no. C'est ça nous voulons savoir. Nous pas mêler qui moun qui connaît personne. Because le ministère te issue et puis moi, là il teni problème et puis moi, il sorti dehors dit tout moun il connaît moi. Nous c'est gens, il connaît famille moi. Ça pas jamais vrai. M'a menti, mais connaît nom là. Moi connaît nom là as a minister. Il sorti dehors, c'est l'habitude li connaît moun et pas connaît moun. Nous pas mêler ça. Because si c'est ça qui te ka coûté, il a dit tout le monde, il connaît moi. Avocat il vient l'audience et dit juge là, il connaît moi. So si tu connais moi, si moi ou connaît moi ou connaît famille moi nous c'est Jean. Est-ce que ça pas te empêcher ou tout moi manière ou tout moi because ou connaît moi c'est Jean. OK? So ça pas important. Ça pas une pièce wait. Ça qui ni wait.
You see where the part are coming into?
Yeah. Ça pas ni wait. Ça pas qu'à peser. Ça nous voulons savoir. Est-ce yo ba ou la han bay madame là? Est-ce ou bay madame là? Oui et ben non. Est-ce ou bay madame là la han? Oui et ben non. Est-ce ou pour bali qui joue kay bali? C'est ça qui est important.
Bougla m'a donné l'autre question. Bougla dit comme ça, ou dit developer whatever that pas by madame là plus Lapo free pay $4,500 a month.
Nou pa même mêler pis ça. Ça nous vle sav, c'est ça ministre pa vle parler about. Kola madame là.
So up to now, il pas qu'on defend quoi.
C'est ça nous vle sav. Nous pas mêler qui si nom la connaît tout si pas connaît tout si pas jamais ouais si c'est nenen nous si c'est pas bon. Ça nous vle sav kola han. Comment la han yo ba ou. Ek nom la aussi dit ou te hen tezata la han de briefcase pour faire project. Est-ce que ça veut? Est-ce que ça veut? Ça nous veut savoir. Est-ce que ça veut? Kolahan et puis qui ça fait puis case close. Everything else that was said. Kola, listen to me. Everything else that was said is noise. The important parts, and the thing about this minister is he likes to concentrate on the noise and forgets conveniently to answer the pertinent questions. The pertinent question is, has the developer given you money for the lady? Have you paid the lady?
Right.
Did you receive this money? Right. Did you receive this money from the person who made the contribution? Is this true? And if you did receive it, where did the money go? Case closed. We don't want to know anything else. We don't care about anything else. Everything else is noise. Simple. Now, my question, what I want to know today, what is the Prime Minister doing? Because a new school year is about to start. Parents have 2.5 months to get things together. And in the middle of that 2.5 months, we still don't know if a hurricane can hit St. Lucia. So we have to prepare for hurricane. We have to prepare for the new school year. And we have to prepare to live our everyday lives. So, Mr. Prime Minister, how are we to do it? That's my question today. Parents.
Like, I'm trying to understand that hold on. How are you going to do it? There is no desilting of no rivers or whatever. You remember, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember when I was small, I used to see tractors in the countries.
Right.
Have you ever seen one there?
Well, I don't know if you've been to St. Lucia recently.
No, I haven't been.
Okay. Well, several of the rivers in St. Lucia are now becoming pasture land.
Well, according to what I'm seeing and according to what people are telling me,
trees
they
are
become
grown.
forested.
Yes, yeah, they've become forested areas, and they've become pastures and meadows and all of that. We're not seeing any desilting ahead of this hurricane season. Well, it's already here, so we can't be ahead of it anymore. We're not seeing any desilting. I'm being told by my sources that all of these works are now have been taken out of the hands of the Ministry of Infrastructure and are now coming from the Office of the Prime Minister. This is another question I want to find out. Is this true? And why is that? Because why are we paying a Minister of Infrastructure if the Prime Minister has to do his job? I don't understand. And if the Prime Minister is not confident in the Infrastructure Minister's prowess and capabilities, si ou savi pa ha fet travay la, pou chi la ka pou la han nou? Pou chou pa ha fayay?
I can't believe you speak against Caribbean unity.
No, I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question. We have St. Lucia is about to face. St. Lucia is about to face some difficult times.
No, they're not about. I don't, Angie.
Yeah.
I don't use it about. They are facing it.
Yeah. Well, that is true.
They are facing it because of politics.
That is true.
And I don't want to call anybody name
Mm-hmm.
or say anybody is corrupt. I don't want to do it, and I will not do that.
Right.
Right? But a lot of our politicians in St. Lucia came into politics, like Rick Wayne said before, and these people have never worked nowhere. They have nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm.
So these people come into politics just to enrich themselves and make their families and friends and whosoever better. But these people have no business. They have never worked anywhere.
But caller, that is the whole reason why we elected these individuals, to make our lives better, not just their families, everyone.
No, because what happened, if you did not vote for UWP, you're in problems. If you didn't vote for SLP, you're in problems. And this needs to stop.
Yeah.
It is not about political party. And I was looking today, and believe me when I spoke on Facebook about the corruption of the administration, and I hear people tell me, well, we don't care because you have never been in St. Lucia for 20 years. What does that have to do if I haven't been in St. Lucia for 20 years? So I don't have family and friends in St. Lucia?
Apparently you're no longer a St. Lucian. The statute of limitations on your citizenship is up. That's foolishness, caller. That is foolishness. If you're a St. Lucian, you're a St. Lucian. That doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense.
Tell me what the sense of that, so I don't speak to people, I don't hear people cry. I'm from the same constituency as the Prime Minister. And I'm not trying to put down the Prime Minister or the Minister of Tourism, because the Minister of Tourism and myself were born in the same area, we grew up in the same area.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister, because I'm from Castries East.
Right.
And more to speak about the Prime Minister, the Minister of Tourism born at the bottom of the bridge by Kuzi Corner, and I born up the road where they call Bwakache. That's where the Prime Minister is, like Pavé.
Yes. Yeah, which is why he is assuming that he knows me, because my family is from that same area at the bottom of Pavé.
I know you.
Yeah.
I know you. So I'm from the same area. That's where I'm from. And what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even I am not living in St. Lucia now, right? But I have all my families there. They're telling me nothing have changed.
Yeah.
And my families are both sides. They are both SLP and UWPs.
Mm-hmm.
They are both sides, because everybody will not be everybody.
Right.
So then they will have both sides. You see, like you, I'm not going to tell you who I am, eh?
That's okay.
But you and I was the best. But I will never tell you that is not the time for that. I was surprised when I see you on radio.
Ah, well.
But what I'm saying, the Minister of Tourism needs to come up with a better explanation.
He does.
The explanation he gave don't satisfy me. What he's saying about God and all these things, it doesn't satisfy me. And he's saying that because our people, Angie, and take that in, our people, a lot of people of our people believe if you have book knowledge that you're educated. Educated is not book knowledge.
That is very true. What you're saying is very true. In fact, my old social studies teacher used to say, education is the application of knowledge, not its attainment. If you go to school and you have a degree and you just put that degree on the side and you're not using it, you are knowledgeable, but you're not educated. You have to use the knowledge that you've attained, and then, only then, are you educated.
So the people are not educated. Sorry to say that, Lucians, but I grew up on Bridge Street. I was a drag boy. I grew up on the drag. We grew up on the drag. You had Portion, you had the Leos, you had everybody. I was one of them. Now, you need answers. And you're not getting your straight answers. Whether you vote SLP or UWP, well, SLP is in power. But I'm not saying SLP not doing a good job, because I want to. But if you want to say SLP doing a good job, tell me where is St. John Hospital that was handed over?
I don't know if you know, because you've not been here for quite some time, but what we got was a building. Not a hospital,
That's
a building.
A building, and there was no word about building.
Well, caller, I don't know what to tell you, but the Prime Minister said he promised a building. That's what he said.
There is not even a building, because why Reno is still working in the hospital. If you hand me over, if I'm going to build a house for you, Angie, and I give you your house, not your chairs you're going to put in there?
Well, yeah.
And your table and your suitcase and everything?
That's the way it should be, caller.
So why am I giving you, I handing over your house to you, but you can open the door?
Honestly, caller, I don't understand it, and I don't think any St. Lucian understand it, except to say that it was a political gimmick. But thank you for your contribution, because it's time for us to take a quick commercial break. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. We're taking a quick commercial break, guys, because we have to pay the bills around here. And when we come back, we'll see if we can hop on to the pre-cabinet press briefing to find out what the Prime Minister can tell us about the cost of living and how it's going to affect, what he's going to do to cushion the blow ahead of this new school year. We'll be right back. Looking for a new way to enjoy your St. Lucian vacation? Book a tailor-made tour with Sea Breeze Adventures. Explore the island's untouched natural beauty as you visit hidden coves and beaches along the coastline with any one of our whole or half-day excursions. We offer a variety of adventure opportunities, including sport fishing, sunset cruises, island adventures, whale and dolphin watching, and water taxi service. To book, contact Captain Warren at telephone number 1758-713-3196. Sea Breeze Adventures, not just a tour, but an adventure.
You already know the power of Lix products on your house and household. You lixed your whites and colored clothes, leaving them fresh and scented. You lixed your dishes and left your hands protected with vitamin E. You lixed your floors, even lixed your toilet. Now we expand and bring you 3 new scents in our fabric softener, while summer sunshine, and thousand flowers. And rinse those stains off of colored clothes with Let's Color Scent Bleach. Let's wet even further with Body Care Body Soap Bars in deodorant and antibacterial. So let's tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your products giving you licks? Then choose Let's from today distribution link. Available at all leading supermarkets.
Some heat with a relaxing glide down the yoga with your cares at hand as you immerse yourself in the tranquility of nature. It's from school, no problem. Take the moment, on and unforgettable adventure. See Shabana Rafting introduces its summer over special. Start with a welcome cocktail to set the mood. Then enjoy a 90-minute guided tour and a corner filled with drinks for your refreshment. Tours start from 9:30 a.m. and every 2 hours with the last tour at 3:30 p.m. Adults paying 100 EC per person. Kids ages 5 to 11 years old, 50 EC. We are located in the Motor Van next to St. Lucia Distillers. For reservations, call 1-758-720-2020. Don't forget to like St. Lucia Bamboo Rafting on Facebook and Instagram. St. Lucia Bamboo Rafting. Let us take you from stressed to relaxed in 90 minutes flat.
Fire FM 107.7 presents Full Disclosure, a hard-hitting political program bringing you the facts on political issues. Hosted by Foster Chico every Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. on Fire FM 107.7. Call us at 758-572-3473. It's Full Disclosure this Monday and every Monday 4 to 7 p.m. with Foster Chico.
All right, guys, we're back here on Fire 107.7 FM, and this is Hard Talk. Of course, I am your host, Angie. The conversation today is, ahead of the new school year, which kicks off in the beginning of September, what measures will we see being put in place to cushion the blow, considering that the island is experiencing a sharp increase in the cost of living? And to answer these questions, I am going to see if I can catch the Prime Minister's presentation at the pre-cabinet press briefing, which I just saw pop up. Before I do so, I want to jump on the Facebook platform and see what our listeners think so far about this issue. Because we need some relief, guys. We need some relief. Somebody is saying, let me answer that for you. He will do nothing but raise the prices. I hope that is not the case. Another says, Angie, the little you're talking about is non-existent. People haven't got. Any savings are spent on groceries, transportation, and bills. Unlike the fortunate ones that have a steady job, now everything is increased, plus school is around the corner. Farmers' lives are at risk at every step in their gardens. That's true, because now we have an infestation. I forgot that one. An infestation or sharp increase in the prevalence of the Fedulus, one of the world's deadliest snakes. But don't worry, because the Minister of Agriculture has said that her government provides vaccines, except vaccines don't help with snake venom. What we need is anti-venom. Let's hope she knows exactly what she is talking about. Somebody says, that is a great question, caller. Somebody's saying, good afternoon, Angie. I forgot the pledge. With God as my guide, I pledge allegiance to my country, St. Lucia. That's the most I know. I'm just cutting style on you right now. Somebody says, you are correct, caller. Another says, Angie, you are making me laugh. Somebody says, bravo to you, Angie, well said. Another says, true. Somebody says, Minister young and restless as his world turns, guiding lights are bold and dangerous. Okay. I thought it was bold and beautiful. Maybe I'm wrong. Another says, good afternoon to you, Angie. Good afternoon to all hard talkers. Listening to her, this piece missing, and that's what this person calls the Prime Minister. Tell us the way forward is like fishing in a swimming pool. Okay, this individual has absolutely no faith in the Prime Minister. Somebody on the WhatsApp platform is chiming in. The person says, this is sad, Mr. Crime Prevention Minister. The evil that you do will come to haunt you. Oh, wait, that's an old message. Let me read. This person says, Solutions, what do you say about that? You see how much corruption in this administration of Philip Pierre. Lucians, I always told you that this administration is the worst administration ever in the history of St. Lucia. Scamming frauds, 16 CIP crooks. Another one says, well, Lucians need to know what they want if they want to keep living poor and government ministers keep getting richer overnight. The answer is with the people. They said that is the best government in the history of St. Lucia. Who prepared the receipt for the account? I don't know. Wow, you guys are not letting up. So I want to take a quick look at the pre-cabinet press briefing, guys. I like to explore these things together with you in real time because I love to hear you guys, your explanations and your take on the situations. It's always just so refreshing. But I want to pop over to the pre-cabinet press briefing to see what is going on and what plans the Prime Minister has, or if the question is even going to be answered. And I see we have here the Minister of Commerce, Miss Emma Hippolyte. Let's see what she is speaking about.
So it's going to be a challenge if, as I said earlier, if this war becomes a protracted thing, if it does not come to an end, how long can the government continue to do so? So that is the urgent one for us.
The conference focused on social dialogue, gender equity in the workplace, and decent work in the platform economy. Which of these areas in our summary? You highlighted several labor and social protection reforms during your address. What tangible benefits can St. Lucian workers and employers expect to see as a result of St. Lucia's participation in the conference and the discussions held in Geneva?
I must say, not only for my attendance at the conference, when I joined the Labour Department, one of the key things that was already happening was we were getting some significant support from the ILO's regional office in Trinidad. And I want to give a lot of credit to my predecessor, Dr. Virginia Albert Poet, because she started that work. She visited Dr. Poet and the peers, visited the ILO office in Trinidad and Tobago, and caused that dialogue to commence. We were getting, for example, you may have recalled the week of Labor Day preceding May 1st, we had a delegation here. You may recall that Prime Minister and the rep from Trinidad, the ILO rep from Trinidad and Tobago signed the Convention 144. It was at the Financial Center. Also, it was on I think it was 29th of April, that we also launched the National Tripartite Advisory Commission, which I mentioned earlier. All of that is preparing us for what is going to happen tomorrow morning. It is sitting down and saying, we have a group of persons here, this country belongs to us, St. Lucia belongs to us, not this government. But we are saying that with open dialogue between workers who are represented by the unions and employers, or the investors that are represented by the Employers Federation. It is when we sit at the table that we can sit down craft policies that you can then go to the cabinet and say, these are the standards that you need to adopt for platform work, for example. Those persons.
I'm sorry, but this is not the subject that is most pressing in the minds of St. Lucians right now. I mean, it's all well and good talking about the International Labour Organization and how labor relations will be done moving forward. Of course, these discussions are important. We're not downplaying the importance of these discussions at all, but we do need to know, because the pressing issue, and that's my problem with this current administration, they're always trying to draw attention away from the pressing issues. All of these things, labor relations, international relations, they're important. I'm not saying no. But as a St. Lucian, what is more important to you? What matters more to you? The fact that the Minister for Consumer Affairs went to a convention, or measures being put in place to enable you, the hard-working St. Lucian parent, to be able to afford to educate your youngster while still being able to keep a roof over their heads and to keep them fed. And God forbid you need to rush them to the hospital. Will you be able to afford that as well? Because, guys, are you aware that, and I think I said that before, there are certain aspects of healthcare, and you hear the current administration put out all of those ads on healthcare. They tell you about universal healthcare this and universal healthcare that. But are you aware that there are certain healthcare components that you have to pay out of pocket? Are you aware that if you need an X-ray, say you fell, or maybe you were in an accident, or maybe you were in a fight, and you want to make sure that you have a pain, and you want to make sure that that pain is not severe, or let's say you want to ensure that you don't have a broken bone, that you have to come out of pocket to pay for that X-ray? Do you know that? Are we being told these things? Do you know that if you need blood work done and you choose to go to the health center because they say universal health care and free blood work for pregnant women, do you know that what you're going to get is a form so that you can go to a lab? Because guess what? Our current administration, I don't understand what it is they are doing. I am confounded, kerfuffled, and quite confused. And let me tell you why. Because they come out with all those fancy titles. They come out with all of those fancy monikers. They tell you universal health care, free coverage for free medical coverage for individuals, was it 65 years and older or 60 years and older? I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because you guys heard it too. But when you go to the hospital, with your elderly grandmother, your elderly grandfather, your elderly parent, your aunt, your uncle, do you know that you have to pay? You get a bill? So how is it free healthcare for the elderly if I'm getting a bill? If bus fares, well, let's not talk about bus fares yet, because the leader, is he a leader? The president, right, that's the name I'm looking for. The president of the National Council, the NCOPT, National Council on Public Transportation, he said they're going to be monitoring operations, meaning how they are faring, for the next 3 weeks. And if that increase in fuel prices causes hardship to the bus drivers, then the bus drivers will be asking for an increase. So we still have 3 weeks grace before bus fares increase. But have we thought about if bus fares increase ahead of this new school year? So bus fares set to increase, water rates set to increase, electricity already increased, prices of food on supermarket shelves already sky high, price of gas gone up, school books will go up, school shoes will go up, uniforms will go up, stationery will go up, bags will go up, and our salaries remain the same. And in some cases, guys, you may not even know this, but are you aware that certain establishments, for example, the call centers, the persons who are responsible for paying the individuals who work at the call centers, they are basing their rates on the minimum wage. Yes. They are basing their rates on the minimum wage. So that means, I have another caller on the line. Whatever work that you get to do, whatever account that you are hired to work on, doesn't matter what the job is actually worth, but the employer is going to take the minimum wage into account to offer you a salary. Oh, we lost that call. Yeah. So, if the employer traditionally would have paid more for that type of service, they're now paying you less, because they're basing, and you know that St. Lucia has, I think, one of the lowest minimum wages in the entire Eastern Caribbean. So yes, they are negotiating prices, payments, salaries per hour based on the minimum wage. So it seems to me, St. Lucia, that we do not have a middle class in this island. What we have is a struggling, working poor who is about to face dire straits. Sad, but extremely true. And we have a government who seems to be spending more time doing PR, meaning advertising what they're doing, than actually working in the interest of the people. Again, extremely sad, But this is what we seem to be facing. Over to the Facebook platform, somebody here is saying, Emma, people are not eating conventions. Okay. Somebody says, Emma, you and all the ministers will pay for what you all are doing to the people of St. Lucia. Now, I want to go back to the Facebook, the WhatsApp platform, sorry. I want to go back to the pre-cabinet press briefing, but I really want to join it when the Prime Minister is in office or in attendance, because I really, as the Minister of Finance, I want to find out what the Prime Minister's plan is to cushion the blow on St. Lucians during the upcoming school year. But guys, the phone lines are open, 572-3473, and I want to hear from you as parents. How do you plan on coping with these increases that are set to happen? What is your plan to ensure that your little one, or maybe your big one, because some of you have kids who are about to enter South Louis Community College. Some of you have kids who are planning on going overseas to study. So it's not just the little ones. My grandmother used to say, little children, little problems, big children, big problems. How do you plan on dealing with this new school year amid all of these proposed increases in the cost of living? What options do you have? How do you see yourself coping with these things? Increase in the price of gas, increase in the price of electricity, increase in the price of goods on supermarket shelves. I'm guessing healthcare will become more expensive soon because the doctors have to eat and they have to pay their bills as well. And we're seeing a new school year about to open. School books to buy, uniforms to buy, shoes, socks, and all of the paraphernalia that come with getting a child ready for the school year. How are you coping, St. Lucia? How are you going to do it? And if in the next 3 weeks we see an increase in the bus fare, guys, I can tell you that increase will not go down by the time September comes around. Once the prices go up, they stay up. They don't come back down. And everything is set to be more expensive. We're approaching an increase in the price or in the rate of water. Soon, I am guessing other utilities will increase. Okay, the Prime Minister has made an appearance, guys, and I want to cut to that part of the briefing. Let's hear what the Prime Minister has to say on this pending issue.
Our final presenter is Honorable Philip J. Pierre, who is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Minister for Finance, Constituency Development, People Empowerment, Justice, and National Security. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Today I just want to say a happy 80th birthday to Excellency Dame Paulette Louise Governor General Emerita. She has been Governor General of St. Lucia from 1997 until the year 2016, the longest serving Governor General in St. Lucia. She was a former Dean of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. She's led a distinguished career both in the world of academia and in public service. She's been a former teacher, and she's well known for her work on the Creole language. You may recall she was the first Governor General to not read the entire budget, but large excerpts of the budget in Creole, and that has become a tradition at the foreign speeches, where she read part of a foreign speech in Creole. So we want to wish her a very happy birthday and wish her long life and thank her for her service to the people of St. Lucia. So a happy birthday to Dame Paulette Weasley. On a more somber note, we mourn the loss of former Governor General, Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack, who passed away last week. Mr. Snack was former leader of the opposition, former Minister of External Affairs, former leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and he was the parliamentary representative for Labrie. I have instructed that, following the usual protocol, that there will be awarded a state funeral, and the date of the state funeral will be announced shortly. All flags will be flied at half-mast, and the normal protocols that are given to a deceased head of state. I've already expressed my condolences in public, but once more I would express, I called Lady Julita Snack this morning and we had a discussion. I expressed the condolences of the government and the people of St. Lucia on the death of Sir Neville. May his soul rest in peace. Today also, the Cabinet will approve the extended tax amnesty, which will be in effect till December 2027. And what is important to note is that all interest and penalties of taxes due up to December 2025 will be waived. This is probably one of the most generous tax concessions ever. All interest and penalties due on taxes up to December 2025 are going to be waived. So we call on the public, all taxes, VAT, which is actually collected by businesses for the government and ought to be returned to the government immediately. But the government decided that we understand sometimes that there may be issues, so we're going to be waiving these interest and penalties. We've been doing that now from the budget. We've been doing that from the budget of 2026, I think, of 2023. We've been waiving that, yes. We've been waiving interest and penalties, the most generous tax concessions ever given. Also, we are going to be continuing the zero rated items for building materials that have for another 2 years. Building materials will continue to be zero rated as far as VAT is concerned, and the service charge on food items which was been waived will continue to be waived. So we're continuing our thrust in one, in trying to reduce the impact of rising prices on the public of St. Lucia, and two, trying to continue the building boom that is evident in St. Lucia. I will take any questions that you may wish at this time.
Just in relation to the tax amnesty, is it the same one where it's up to the penalties and interest that was accrued up until December 31st, 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
Okay, cool. Well, since you mentioned government...
We're offering the Internal Revenue, the client, to come and speak to the Internal Revenue. But there's a formal situation where you can come and speak to the revenue about tax payment. You're going to be allowing people to have tax arrangements up to December 2027.
Since you mentioned the Governor General, it just came to mind that how is Mr. Cyril, the Governor General, doing? Because in April we were told that
the General is now on leave.
Okay.
He's on leave until the end of June or the middle of July. He's on leave at this point.
And that means Felix Felicia continues to act in that?
No, Felix is not going to act. He's a deputy to the Governor General.
Okay.
It's very important that we get his words this correctly.
Okay. All right. Just my one question from me. There's been a lot of conversation online in the public domain, even speaking to some people, with regards to crime and legislation and how stringent legislation is. I mean, I've looked at the legislation. It seems pretty stringent to me. But what's your take on these sort of conversations? Just as a parliamentarian where you have people calling for some form of, I don't know, amendments or some increased penalties in their minds.
But as I've mentioned to you several times, that the crime problem affects me, concerns me, right? But we've made the point many times that the government legislates. I don't know whether you heard Dr. Kenny Anthony in his discussion when he spoke to the members of the judiciary. There is a clear separation of powers. The question is, who takes the lead? We take the lead in that we pass the laws. Then there is the constitution. The constitution of the country, people challenge some of the laws in the constitution. That's happened before. St. Lucia has and you can ban some of the strictest gun laws in the region. The strictest ones. The question is, why, you ask yourself, why aren't these laws, why don't you hear them manifested? I can't answer that question. Sometimes I know you don't like me, say that? I can't answer this question. I can't answer why. But I can tell you there are some of those most severe penalties, like life imprisonment. It's a notion. I don't think many people know that. But
I just had to cut in. I know I try not to cut in when the Prime Minister is speaking because I really need the public to understand what he's saying. But excuse me, we have some of the most severe penalties like life imprisonment. Isn't that a staple in the penalties worldwide? Is that something that St. Lucia alone employs? Sometimes I find it very hard to take the Prime Minister seriously. Simply because whenever the Prime Minister has an audience, it's almost as if, I don't want to say that he is insulting the people of St. Lucia, the intelligence of the people of St. Lucia, but I also have to ask myself, who does he think he is speaking to? So, we were concerned with the state of the country as it is, what we're about to face. St. Lucia is facing, we've seen a hike or spike in the cost of fuel at the pump. We've seen a spike in the cost of groceries on supermarket shelves. We're seeing a spike in the price of electricity. We're also seeing an increase, or we're slated for increases in water rates and a potential increase in the cost of electricity. In bus fares, transportation. The Prime Minister's response, because a new school year is about to begin, parents will have to find ways to ensure that their little ones are ready for the new school year. And the Prime Minister's response to that is to waive penalties for taxes, fees and penalties for persons owing taxes up until December 2005. Then the Prime Minister will say to us that he will continue to zero rate the cost of, we have this caller on the line. Caller, give me a minute, let me finish with my point. So the Prime Minister is saying he will continue to zero rate building materials. How does that help the average Joe who is preparing to get their little one ready for school? We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Yeah, Angie, sorry about this. I just want to say something. Like in Canada, right? So, like insurance, right? Insurance in Toronto. So if I have a car in Toronto, right? My insurance can go to 500, 600, whatever. In Alberta, it can go to the same thing. In BC, it can go to something. But if you in Atlantic Canada, so your insurance can be like only $40. But why? Because you have less traffic. You don't have no cars in Atlantic Canada. So if you live in Bathurst, or you near Michi, Fredericton, whatever, you can even pay insurance for $10.
Well, I don't think we're going to see these rates here anytime soon, caller. That's wishful thinking. I'm going to cut you off right there because these things don't apply to us. In St. Lucia, our insurance rates just increased by 44%.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you.
So
we live in now. So now what was my topic? Is you live in a small country. Canada have 10 provinces and free territories. So that means territories, because I want to explain to the people.
I'm going to be honest with you, caller. The people don't care. None of what is happening in Canada affects our pockets down here. Trust me. What we want to know down here is, how is the Prime Minister going to help us cope? How is he going to cushion the blow? And what is happening in Canada, as nice as it sounds for you who lives there, But
it's someone I try to do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The government and not SLP government, because everybody believes, because as soon as you talk, say SLP, why you vote. The governments or the politicians, I don't want to use no other words. the governments are not doing anything, but in my own purview, Alan Chasney, because tout le monde parle about Alan Chasney, he was on his way to make, I don't know if, I don't want to say that he was a god, but he was on his way to make it happen. Maybe he was too slow.
Well, I don't know, caller. I really don't know.
I don't know if he was too slow, but I don't want to.
Caller,
Maybe he was.
caller, again, because you're starting to be Philip JPA. Alan Chasney left demitted office in 2021. We're in 2026. 2 terms.
No, because
we really are not, and I want you and the Prime Minister, I know you are his friend. The next time you'll meet to eat your cheeses in the bar, wherever it is you'll meet, please tell the Prime Minister.
I love you. No, I will never.
We do not care.
I will never
about
eat cheese with this guy.
cheese.
You know why?
We do not want to know about Alan Chasney. We don't want to hear about Alan Chasney. Alan Chasney is no longer. I'm serious. Alan Chasney is no longer the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Alan Chasney is a private citizen just like us. He's the leader of the opposition. He have to pay the gas prices. He has to pay the taxes, everything just like us.
So, right. I don't want to talk about that. I will never speak about Captain Mike. But I'm speaking Captain Mike. Captain Mike that made me who I am today. And I will not speak about that. But I'm saying to you, Angie, you are doing a very good job.
Thank you for that.
You are doing a job that solutions need to understand. Maybe you are a little bit too rough on the edge.
Have a good day, caller. Have a good day. We have another caller on the line. Thank you so much for that. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, good day, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, okay. Angie, that statement that the Prime Minister said about people not being, he would not reduce the gas because, in essence, that we didn't know what to do with the money, or we wouldn't know what to do with the money.
Well, technically, what he said was he did not reduce the gas because he felt that the savings, we would have used it to do things that might not have been productive. Right.
Oh, that is just a reckless statement,
Well,
that is a reckless statement because the Prime Minister has to realize that he is not the economy. The economy still runs without the input of the public sector. The private sector does so much that the public sector cannot do, and do it much more efficiently than the public sector.
That's right.
And we have been reeling for so long with those gas prices. Where you could give people a little reprieve, you are making such a nonsensical statement. I feel sometimes our Prime Minister is a cabaret Prime Minister,
Caller, you are not the first person to express those sentiments.
You wonder if this man thinks before he speaks. And if what he says is even credible, if you could take that to the bank. Because things are so hard, Angie. Things are so hard in St. Lucia. You go to the stores, the supermarket, and mostly when you look at the bill, most of what you can purchase is exempted items. Our standard of living has fallen so low in this country.
Yep, it has.
Bus fares are going up. It never comes down. Every time you hear price hike. And I want St. Lucians to understand that situation, Under the United Workers' Party, these people fought with the bus drivers. They worked with them. You understand? They kept giving them rebate after rebate after rebate. Republic, you know.
Everything to keep the price of bus fares from going up.
And we kick these people, we kick them out, you know, and this blatant government, you know, they just pass it on. They don't even say, okay, drivers, I understand what's going on. We all are feeling it. Let's work together. Let me give you a rebate. Let me give you a reduction on vehicles you want to bring in. All of those things are different ways the former government tried to help the situation, not to help the drivers per se, to give them what they want, but to help us, the general public, to help us that don't have vehicles. A lot of us that don't have vehicles are those people who can't afford it in the first place.
Yep.
You know, you kick some people with that kind of understanding. When you look at the gas prices just going up, fluctuating up and down, and these days just up. It has a downward spiral. The price of bread went up. The price of goods at the store went up, because at the end of the day, everything works on gas.
Yep.
We have not made that transition to renewables, and I don't think we'll ever make that transition to renewables, sadly, in this country. You know, so
can we afford it, caller? If we continue to pay these exorbitant prices, renewable energy, the setup is very expensive, the initial setup.
Yeah.
And to go, it will give you savings in the long run, but the initial setup is very expensive.
But if we make the initial, we're taking loans all over the place, CVB, this and that, International Monetary Fund, everywhere we're taking loans. Take a loan or get the private sector involved in switching St. Lucia into renewables. We have this almost every day on our head. There are people that don't have that. There are countries that don't have that, and they are still going so much into the renewables. You know, North America and these other places, they are going into it, and they are slow. They don't have the sun, the luxury that we have all year round. You know, and this government is basic, and people need to realize that is a government that is, I don't want to say they're not in our interest, but for all the smart people and all the educated people that the Labour Party is supposed to have, sometimes you wonder, from the Prime Minister down, or if those that are smarter below don't speak to him and tell him, you know, Mr. Prime Minister, I don't think that is a wise idea. He just says nonsense. I mean, he does nonsense. You know, how could you say that I'm not going to be a responsible person and use that money to do something positive?
Yeah.
So why did you give the VAT free day? Why did you give the builders and contractors exemptions on building materials? They'll not take that money and bring it for their jobbers. You know? At the end of the day, you have to trust that St. Lucia will make, not everybody that you know, you give, just because, you know, during the election you give them chicken and rum and they'll vote for you. Not everybody in St. Lucia is dumb, you know. And $500 to put in their pocket, and that's supposed to last them for 5 years. I mean, have a little more respect for the people of St. Lucia. Because trust me, if you see, I got that exemption. It's not that I would have taken it and splurged it. I would have put it in my savings account for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you for that, caller. Thank you for that. The frustration is mounting, people. It is mounting. Over on the Facebook platform, somebody says, even that he is struggling to say, oh, finally, he said, thank you and not thank you. My goodness. Somebody says, oh, so the state funeral is simply something you cannot avoid? I see. Otherwise, you would have just gone about your merry way, right, PJP? Questions. Somebody, guys, listen. On the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, Angie. Angie, I'll go straight back to the business of the people, Angie. And I'll start by saying this. It's been over 5, maybe 6 years after our 2021 defeat. And to this day, we've been thinking about most of those problems. We had for the past 5 years, every other day, maybe town hall meetings, press conferences, all those different things. And so for some reason, some might say that the elections is stolen, the election was rigged, the election was bought. But the fact remains, Angie, most of the population didn't come out to vote when they needed to vote against the water crisis, the healthcare crisis, and all the different crises that we are facing, Angie.
Right.
And you know, Angie, when I analyze the situation and say to myself, where is the problem? Because the United Workers' Party been telling the people what is happening, been spreading the message. My question, Angie, and I'm a supporter, people know the vex with me, and that's their business. My question is the messenger giving the messenger, is the messenger the problem, or the message is the problem? Because
in my view, that the Labour Party was so good at shooting the messenger, that they succeeded in drowning out the message. Because there are some individuals, as soon as you start playing a clip with Philip J. Pierre, they're going to turn it off. They're going to switch to another channel. There are some individuals, as soon as you play a clip with Alan Shasney, they're going to switch to another channel. So the messenger has been shot so thoroughly and riddled with bullets so succinctly that the message is drowned out.
But Angie, and that is where I would disagree with you on that.
Really?
Because I'm a part of the messenger, and I didn't get shut down as yet. The problem is that what I'm trying to tell you is that past elections we have won by doing that same thing that we're doing, sending out the message. 2016, we ran a robust campaign. That campaign leaded us in making anybody who had put in any seat would have won. That is how the solution masses are turned against the Kenny Anthony regime. Today, it's even worse under the Labour Party and the Philip J. Pierre. And for some reason, our messages are not getting across. So I will not say that they have done it. Because you see, the thing is, the SFRT is not more intelligent than the people in the United Workers' Party. We all solutions, what I'm trying to say. And it's not about the chicken and rum, it's not about $110 million, because we could have, if our message was resonating, or the people giving the message were resonating with the people, more people would have come out and vote. More people, and then we would have drawn all the 110 million, would have drawn all the CIP money that was being used, because the amount of people that came out, just like the 2016 election, it was a national swing.
But you have to look at the circumstances, Ekola. I think you're missing out that very important part. So in 2016, do you remember what was going on in St. Lucia? The situation in 2016 and the situation now are similar, because back in 2016, if you recall, everything was going sky high. VAT had been introduced at 15%. We were fresh off a global financial crisis. People were catching their royal, and St. Lucians could no longer borrow money. You might not recall, but are you aware that twice the Kenny Anthony administration had to borrow monies from the private sector to pay public servants because we could not raise money? That situation was a boiling point, and it tipped it over. But hold on, compare that just now, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Compare that to 2021. Yes, we were coming out of COVID, which was another very high thing. But did we really have hardship in St. Lucia? People were not going hungry. Roads were being built. Infrastructure.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Just listen to me, because this is your show. I'm going to be very quick.
Yeah.
People wasn't going hungry in 2016 as what it was, you know. The same problems we were facing in 2016 are actually the same problems in 2021, even exaggerated in 2026. My Angie, the problem is the people that giving the message wasn't resonating with the people. And the thing is, what does the United Workers' Party has the ability to show the people that, hey, we are united, we are not divided, we can take the country to somewhere else. Does that resonate with the people? Angie, the truth is no. It shows that this at the top, senior ministers left, all kind of things. It was a disaster. And it's continuously happening today again.
Caller,
And that
there
is
is
where
so much hate. There was so much hate.
unless the United Workers' Party and its members recognize that you
Are you there?
don't have a party anymore. People will not vote for it, no matter what messages or no matter how we say the message. Once the people do not see that unity is there, they will not go with it. Now, have a blessed one, and we will continue that conversation again, because it is going on in the cracks of why we lost those two general elections. Have a blessed one.
Thank you. Well, I disagree with that. I think circumstances, I'm not saying that a lack of unity is not detrimental to any organization, political or otherwise. But you have to understand, circumstances make it what it is. And the circumstances in 2016, it was bad. It was really bad. It was financially horrible. It's the same circumstances that happened in 2006. People turn to the United Workers' Party to fix the problems that SLP creates. You can say whatever you want. In 2006, what happened? Another global financial decline. Another global financial crisis. And Kenny Anthony couldn't cope. Because, you see, the people can only take so much before they rebel. In 2021, people may have been upset over the COVID pandemic. They were scared. They were rebellious to the strict measures that were put in place to safeguard lives and livelihoods. But nobody can deny financial conditions, economic conditions in the country were way better than they are now. But now, come on. We are catching our royal and we are set to catch it even worse. Back to the Facebook platform. Okay, we have another caller on the line. The calls are hot and heavy today. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon to you, Ms. Angie, and everyone listening. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad myself. I like the previous caller very much, but I just couldn't let this sit.
Mm-hmm.
So my contribution will not be long, but I just want to see that. I agree with you, Angie. It's not just it didn't just come down to just the message. I believe that there is very much a large portion of disagreements in the current administration as well. What they do, they just try to put on the best show of face when it comes to what we see on the outside. Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing is, they had all that money at their disposal, and they utilized all of that to make that the election unfair. So that, I think, that is the most detriment part of the election result.
And don't forget, caller, don't forget again, and that's another thing I was trying to say to the previous caller, there was so much hate and racism going around.
Exactly.
That people automatically, and this is what I meant when I said some people were drowning out it, that they shot the messenger up so badly that people were automatically drowning out the message. Do you know how many people who told me, because I did canvassing on the ground, people said to me, they don't see anything that the SLP is doing, but they just cannot vote UWP because of Shasney and Guy. Why? Because you don't have all of the things they say about, and these people this and these people that, and you're asking them what did they do. People telling you Shasney was bad for the country, but they cannot tell you how he was bad, because psychologically people were conditioned to hate this man. So anything he said, it doesn't matter what was drowned out. You have to understand there's a lot going on, and it wasn't just one thing. It was a combination of things.
It was a bullying. Actually, if you permit me, I want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I already started listening. Pretty much now, I don't listen to local radio stations as such. I listen to television radio stations. It's only recently, let's say almost about 2 years now, I got to find out the different avenues, because it was just social media and I wasn't getting everything from there.
Right.
But when I started listening, it was pretty much he winding down to the final year of the last general elections.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe one of the first things that I started hearing about was the DSH scandal? Also, what they made a scandal of the DSH.
Right.
I started hearing about the same, as I said, the racism thing. He's a white man. We don't want a white man ruling our country. So, honestly, that piqued my attention. I'm like, what really is going on? Because I missed out on a lot of things that were happening. It was only here state. Yeah. Now that I get the different platforms and stuff like that, I could follow myself and get some other information firsthand. But these were the bigger things. Guy Joseph is a Bogwali, so they robbed the country, and up to now, it's even on the DBS news. It's political. All the comments are the people. You don't want to imagine what's going on. They're still talking about the $7 million for the vaccine, but the refuse
that has been already paid back. You know, the country has been paid back. That money has been paid back.
Paid back. And from what the information that I received on that deal, that the individual in particular, I think he laid down the property term, deeds to the property or whatever, just to assure that the country would not lose that money.
Yes.
And they are not saying, apparently they do not know any of this. All they know is that $7 million or how much it was.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to be completely honest with you. There are individuals in St. Lucia who are suffering under this Labour government. Suffering so much that when they wake up in the morning, they don't know where the next meal is coming from. But they are sticking to their guns. You know why? They are sticking to their guns because they went so far. They said so much. Yep. They did so much to discredit the UWP that they are embarrassed and they have no choice. They have no choice but to double down and stick to their guns because of pride.
Exactly. Imagine, Chichiban last year, he's sticking with Mr. Pierre, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, one of his calypsos for this year, at least I read a snippet of it, he's wanting that same Mr. Pierre, or Jordi Paye.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much in that one, he's saying, you promised this, or give us something so we will not have teeth to bite you. That same person, just 1 year later. So you can imagine that.
I heard a snippet of a song with Bob Black asking about St. Jude Hospital.
I've not heard this one. I've heard the one about Wasco. I've heard the Colorful, which makes perfect sense as well. You know, but honestly, there was so much up to now. Philip J. Paisley, I think he probably realized that he mentioned that $110 million by accident.
It was in the report that they did not want to put out. It was in the CIP report that they did not want to put out. They tried everything not to put it out, but they had no choice.
And he still turned around and blamed the auditors.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, Angie, I keep saying, the more we speak about these things, the more I am convinced this guy has never won an election. And I think that a lot of times people speak and that is being missed out. Because no matter how many people voted for them or against them, if they want to say, let's go back to the fact that if they get me vexed, I'm going to win 17 or 17 seats.
Mm-hmm.
We made mention of a certain number for the members of Rosalie.
Right.
We made a certain,
and you know that is the same amount that the member from Rosalie won by?
Exactly. So these things are called proof that something is going on, or the election results are being altered.
Exactly.
So no matter if they got one vote, if they wanted to say that they won by 1,000, that's what they fix it to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they come and talk about, even in the deputy minister, one of the first things he come and talk about in that recent situation, he increased his margin. Actually, when somebody does something, they did it truthfully, they did it honestly, they are not so quick to come and flash it in your face.
Exactly.
You know, and before they open their mouth to speak, we won by and we increase our margins. We have a larger mandate. you have a larger mandate, but what are you doing? Where are the results that you have to show that to say that you're working in favor of the country?
Amen, caller.
Where are the results? Even though the Minister for Health, the last he said is by the end of next month, if everything goes well, the hospital will be fully commissioned. Something that they promised that it only need some paint and chemical.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, you still they're waiting for chemical factory to reopen.
Well, I don't know, caller. I don't know.
I couldn't let this sit by, honestly. I just feel that I have to point this out because I think this is probably maybe 60% of the last general elections result.
Yeah.
They have all the money at their disposal. They use the fact that they can shoot the goalposts as they please because they're from the administration. All these things are things that they use to their advantage. Not to mention, the report. I heard reports of people saying that they got paid to vote. Some people were paid not to vote. Even the one guy said to me, as long as they change the leader, back to the racism thing, as long as UWP change the leader, they win. So, there are so many things about which contributed towards this, and it's not, honestly, it's beyond scary. So, like I said, I like the previous caller a lot. A lot of his contributions resonate and open our eyes and enlighten us to a lot of things. But I think you need to consider this, and most likely he will have a different point of view.
Yeah. Thank you for that, caller.
So, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, let's continue with our comments on the Facebook platform. Somebody says, Mr. PM, are we going to continue with the water falling on weekends? Because your report doesn't help us as much as we speak, I am sorry to say. Another person says, sir, that VAT free on building materials is a big joke. That's not for the so-called Malawi. It's only a joke and playing with the minds of citizens. Another says, mate just cannot help, or who he think he is fooling. Somebody else says, caller, apparently we possibly using our own money to do unproductive things is a very well received statement. However, Alan Shastney telling us that he wants us to be privileged in living a better life is a grave offense. All the noise has gone away, right? Another says they are brain dead, caller. No innovation skills. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm surviving the high taxes. Barely surviving the high taxes. Angie, I made an observation. I have made that observation. I'm going to make it public today. So, Philip J. Pierre has a few tones when he speaks about certain things. So he can be low, very low, like, I'm going to extend the tax amnesty to 2027, because
I am laughing already because I know where you're going with this, but I'm going to let you go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Then, when it comes to other things like murders and whatever, well, the people, the solution, when you put it on Facebook, when you put it on social media, you're causing the world, you're making your country look bad.
Caller, this is not a laughing matter because you and I both You and I both know that these things are very well planned.
Yes. Very, very, very well planned.
Yes.
So
playing on
this
the
man
emotions
raises the
of
price
people,
of
playing the victim,
yes.
making people feel
Yes.
sorry. And you and I both know that these things are very well planned, very, very well planned.
Angie, it's amazing if solutions, it amazes me that there are some solutions, let me say it correctly, that who do not pay attention, who do not realize, who do not have not made sense of what, and I say the SLP administration being led by Philip J. Pierre does to the people of St. Lucia. You have increased the price of fuel. We shouldn't have had that increase at all because fuel could have stayed at the $16. It could have. Anybody go calculate it and you see fuel couldn't stay at $16 and nobody would be at a loss. You see, that's what people don't understand. And now you come here and tell us, I'm increasing, whatever the word was, the tax amnesty to 2026.
Mike, but here's the thing that we're missing, caller, and I want to drive that point home.
And which tax amnesty? Which one?
Hold on, I want to drive the point home. The tax amnesty that he is increasing, how does it help you provide the necessary implements for your child to start the new school year? How does it help you?
That's why I'm asking, which tax amnesty? Is it business tax amnesty? Is it personal tax amnesty? I do not know. Which tax amnesty? Is it property tax amnesty? Which one, Philip J. Pierre? Do you know which one, Angie?
No, I don't. I don't.
Exactly.
I'm assuming it's all of them. I'm assuming it's all of them.
Question: which all of which them? Angie, which all of them? That is why he will not say which one. Angie, the only tax amnesty I'm aware that we had in St. Lucia was Alan Chasney's administration, the UWP administration, led by Alan Chasney, bringing in the property tax amnesty. When in 2021, when they came in, and I think that's for residences,
Yeah, it was for residences.
They increased. They kept it. They did not scrap it because they realized, well, if they scrap that, they're in trouble. So they kept it. Don't all of us still pay taxes?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
I remember $4,000 or less, nobody would be paying taxes. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, we're not sure because you see, when the Prime Minister was making that statement, hold on. When he was making that statement, you know how every math have an equation. He used too many number signs in that equation. First, he said persons making less than $4,000 would not pay tax. Then he said in the same sentence, mind you, in the same paragraph, that people making $4,000 or less. Now, I know maths is not my strong suit, but I do recall that there is a less than an equal sign and a less than sign. So which sign was he using in that equation? We still have no idea.
So, yes, now which tax amnesty? The only tax, because that $4,000 or less tax amnesty, or it was not implemented.
No, it wasn't.
As far as I know, that was not implemented. So which tax amnesty is Philip J. Pierre talking about? People, stop letting this man mislead, fool, and lie to you. I need to know, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, I am asking you, for the people of St. Lucia and myself, that I need to know which tax amnesty you have increased or elongated or prolonged until 2027, because you did not do the tax, you didn't do anything to taxes for people paying $4,000, earning $4,000 or less. You have not done it. So the only tax amnesty I knew, the only tax I knew that people were not paying was property taxes, and I think that was on residences.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know.
Is that still
I need to know if. So this is only people with homes. I don't want to assume that, because when you assume, you know, you make a donkey out of you and me.
That's right.
So I do not, I'm being very good today, Angie. I'm being good today, I'm not going to curse. Before you tell me I'm cursing. Before I say color, real language. So what is he talking about, Angie? And he's speaking like, you know, he constipated. I mean, what are you talking about? You need to give clarity on this. We're waiting for the clarity because you have increased prices of fuel when you were not supposed to increase it. There is no reason for you to increase the price of fuel. There is absolutely, let me say it for solutions who do not understand, there is absolutely no reason for Philip J. Pierre to increase the price of fuel. There is absolutely no reason for Philip J. Pierre to increase the price of cooking gas, LPG gas. Yeah. There is no reason. Calculate the price of gas on the world market right now, and calculate the price of what we are paying, what we were paying at the $16. And then people will understand what gas is landing at in St. Lucia, etc. And then people will understand why we have not to pay a penny more in gas. Do not come because it increased on the world market. You had already increased it. You had already increased it to suit what is on the world market. In fact, it is actually higher, still a little bit higher than it's. Well, how much is fuel on the world market? $90?
I'm not sure. I have to check. I must admit I haven't checked.
$100?
So I don't know.
I haven't checked lately. Usually I do, but I have not. Okay. So there is absolutely no reason. And solutions, go and do your homework. Stop sitting there and listening to a man feed you lies and deceive you forever and ever. Stop doing it. You need to do your own research so you know for a fact what is happening.
Yeah.
Stop letting people mislead you. It is too much, Angie. So what tax amnesty? The tax amnesty is not making any difference in our pockets. What would have made a difference in our pockets is not raising the price of fuel.
You know what tax amnesty I would like to see? Caller?
He raised the price of fuel and didn't give people a break because people were going to spend the money the wrong way. We have a looming, and I'm going to say that, I am not calling it, God forbid, but we have another looming pandemic. We have another looming pandemic, Philip J. Pierre. Put that in your peep and smoke it, because if you give the people if you don't raise the prices of gas, if you didn't put a 2.5% compounded tax that ends up being 2.5% before 4 or 5 before the goods reach the shelves and making them so expensive. What inflated imported inflation? That's Philip J. Pierre's inflation.
Mm-hmm.
All how we do the calculations, the correct calculations in math, all of it is Philip J. Pierre's inflation. It has been from 2021 to 2026. We need our money so we can put a little bit in the bank or save a little bit on our mattresses. So in case we have, not in case, there's a looming disaster waiting to happen. Again, Ebola, hantavirus, they're all out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if we have another lockdown, people need their money to be able to fund a little bit of groceries or certain things for their families.
Yeah.
We need the money. People have got any savings from 2021 to 2026, Philip J. Pierre. We're not the ones getting the passport sales money. We're not the ones collecting money from hotels that are setting up 3 and 4 hotels in St. Lucia under one branding. We're not the one collecting monies from them. We're not the one collecting monies from anybody for that matter. Instead, you just have us, we're not making any more in the salary, but you have us paying more in bus fare, more in electricity, more in water, more in gas, more in everything, food, food and goods and services.
Yeah.
And we're not getting anything in return for it. Solutions, do the maths. Philip J. Pierre is lying to you again. We must do something about this. Now, Angie, let me talk about, just quickly, the murder is still on. The murders are still on.
Yeah.
I am not forgetting the young lady who got shot just a couple of days ago, Thursday evening, in Badawash.
In fact, somebody asked if anybody had an update, but we haven't received any updates as yet. I'm hoping that if she does succumb or if she pulls through, we are told. But I'm also hearing reports that that same day there was a body found in the river, in the Masha River. I haven't heard anything about that.
That's right.
I haven't seen any news reports.
Nobody says if it's homicide. Nobody said if the person was shot, if the person was stabbed. Nobody said anything.
Yeah. I checked.
You understand?
With some other news houses, and I haven't seen anything. The Royal Central Police Force hasn't sent anything, and I haven't seen. Well, I got a report from the fire service, but I have not checked it, so I don't know.
Is the Royal Central Police Force, have they been silent when it comes to reporting deaths and murders and things and the crime, even the petty crime being social? Have they been silenced?
No, normally they send you. Normally they send a email or they send a text message. But I have not reached out. I have to admit that I have not reached out to find out anything. If you ask questions, they give you the information. But I have to check. I will have to double check these things, caller, and see if I can get some answers and come back and provide that information to you and the listeners. Maybe tomorrow.
Yes, please, my darling. And please, people, be careful out there because I'm hearing of more snakes. I'm hearing of one panache snake. I'm hearing of more snakes. And then another thing is, I observe, as I say to St. Lucians, I'm very observant. I check my surroundings. So everywhere there's snake sightings and murders. Okay, I leave that. I rest my case. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you so much, caller.
All right.
Guys, you know what tax amnesty I would really want the Prime Minister to give? How about he gives us a tax amnesty on the 2.5% health and security levy? That's an amnesty I could get behind. I think we deserve not to pay that levy, because I don't see the benefit of that levy. Somebody on the WhatsApp platform is saying, good afternoon, Angie. Please tell PJP, speak the truth. Tell the people of St. Lucia he received the vaccine money and say what he did with it. Shasney don't have vaccine money. The Prime Minister has the money. Thanks. Well, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Somebody is setting the record straight. Another person says, good ideas, caller. These are all economic measures that the white man would have designed to help the people cushion the exogenous shocks that we would have been facing. But the little black boy from Masha cannot conceive of any way to bring about financial relief. You're listening to Hard Talk. They don't pull their punches on this platform. Somebody says UWP has no weakness in their message. There is nothing wrong with the messenger either. Stop stoning the party. Now that says, caller, you sound like a dolt and stop trying to say SLP committed fraud. SLP committed fraud in these elections. Get some understanding. Wow. Let's keep it respectful, guys. No name calling, please. Somebody says, the Labour Party is a propaganda cult. They have poisoned 2 generations of St. Lucians. Angie, the message was clear, but lawlessness and fat economy gets votes. Somebody says Jim Jones' era is alive and well in St. Lucia. Another says that makes no sense. St. Lucia not united. They will vote for unity. The people were fooled. Somebody says, Angie, I am not agreeing with this caller at all. Another says, don't worry. They did the very same thing to Sir John. Time will tell. Another says, call. That is why I am saying all the ministers will pay for what they are doing to St. Lucians and lying to them so they can stay in power. Another one says those numbers were all CIP recipients automatically registered to a Labour Party. Now it says, caller of the night, the one who spoke about the way the election was won. Somebody else is saying over here, I honestly think racism played a major part in the defeat of the UWP. It has nothing to do with the message. The SLP was targeting one man, and we know it. Another is saying, true. Hold on. Somebody says, yes, a real bluffer, let him continue to bluff them. Another person says, St. Lucians, open your eyes. Don't make the Labour Party fool you all with the lies. Somebody says, Angie, did PJP inform the nation exactly when will WASCO increase their rates? Is it this month or the months to come? I am still in Wonderland. Well, caller, they said coming soon, and I still don't know how soon it will come, so. Another one says, I think there's an amnesty in place for people who haven't paid taxes. Okay. Somebody else is saying this amnesty is just a strategy to repay their financiers by them not having to pay the millions of taxes that they owe to the people of St. Lucia. I don't think you'll understand this amnesty, because I didn't hear the Prime Minister say the tax amnesty is for you not to pay tax, you know. He said he is waiving the fees. The fees, not the actual taxes. I think you'll need to listen again. The Prime Minister said he is waiving the fees and the interest. He's not waiving the taxes. Somebody says, that's how bluffers speak. What a work, St. Lucians, you all just... Sorry, let me read that again. That's how bluffers speak. What a work, St. Lucians, you all get just what you all deserve. Another one says, I am so happy hearing someone have the same sentiment with me that the SLP never won the 2025 election. Somebody saying the link is down. Was listening on the link and it went down. Okay, so if you were listening to us via the link and it went down, please refresh your page. Just refresh the browser and turn it back on, because I can see there are still several individuals listening on the link. So simply refresh the page. This happens every once in a while. Refresh the page. The link will come back on. You're listening to Fire 107.7 FM, and this is our time, St. Lucia. We got to go. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and I will be right back with my closing statements. Stay tuned. Looking for a new way to enjoy your St. Lucian vacation? Book a tailor-made tour with Sea Breeze Adventures. Explore the island's untouched natural beauty as you visit hidden coves and beaches along the coastline with any one-of-our whole or half-day excursions. We offer a variety of adventure opportunities, including sport fishing, sunset cruises, island adventures, whale and dolphin watching, and smarter taxi service. To book, contact Captain Warren at telephone number 1758-713-3196. Seabreeze Adventures, not just a tour, but an adventure.
You already know the power of Licks products on your clothes and household. You licked your whites and colored clothes, leaving them fresh and scented. You licked your dishes and left your hands protected with vitamin E. You licked your floors, even licked your toilet. Now we expand and bring you 3 new scents in our fabric softener: Balmy Sunshine, Summer Sunshine, and Thousand Flowers. And licks those stains off of colored clothes with Licks Cutter Safe Bleach. Licks went even further with Body Care Body Soap Bars in deodorant and antibacterial. So licks tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your products giving you licks? Then choose Licks from Today Distribution Inc. Available at all leading supermarkets.
Summer heat with a relaxing glide down those with your cares behind as you immerse yourself in the tranquility of nature. Kids home from school, no problem. Take them home on getting an adventure. The St. Lucia Bamboo Rafting introduces its summer water special. Start with a welcome cocktail to set the mood. Then enjoy a 90-minute guided tour and a cooler filled with drinks for your refreshment. Tours start from 9:30 a.m. and every 2 hours, with the last tour at 3:30 p.m. Adults pay 100 AC per person. Kids ages 5 to 11 years old, 50 AC. Located in the Rosa Valley, next to St. Lucia Distillers. For reservations, call 1-758-720-2020. Don't forget to like St. Lucia Bamboo Rafting on Facebook and Instagram. St. Lucia Bamboo Rafting. Let us take you from stressed to relaxed in 90 minutes flat.
Fire FM 107.7 presents Full Disclosure, a hard-hitting political program bringing you the facts on political issues. Hosted by Foster Chico every Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. on Fire FM 107.7. Call us at 758-572-3473. It's Full Disclosure this Monday at every Monday 4 to 7 p.m. with Foster Chico.
All right, guys, don't forget Foster Chico is coming up next. But there's a mistake on that. It's 5 to 7 p.m. and 5 to 8, not 4 to 7. Yeah, so just a correction. Full Disclosure will be on this Monday and every other Monday, hosted by Mr. Foster Chico from 5 to 8 p.m. So when I sign off, don't go anywhere. because Foster will be right back with his own special brand of telling it like it is. But on to the conclusion of our business today. Guys, times are tough. Lucians, watch your bread, because while the country is being strangled, we are held firmly in the grip of a cost of living crisis that seems to have no abatement. Just like a crime situation that has no abatement, things are tough, and they're getting tougher. Pretty soon, Wasco will increase their rates. The bus drivers are looking for a way, or monitoring the situation closely to see whether or not they should increase their rates as well. And we have a new school year on the horizon, and we're already dipping our toes into a hurricane season. Uncertainty seems to be the norm, while our leaders seem to be pussyfooting with the issues. God help us all, St. Lucia. All we can do is ask the questions and hope we get answers. But guys, this is not looking good. So please, people, be diligent. Save your pennies, because nobody's coming to save us. Have a wonderful day, St. Lucia. Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Hard Talk. This is Fire 107.7 FM. I'm Angie. I'm out. See you guys in the next hour or two. Well, a couple of minutes actually, for Full Disclosure with Foster Chico. Bye-bye.